Extreme Gaming Podcast. Quick breaks.
The video is from Legendary Drops, and it's called Steam is on a Warpath. But basically what he's talking about is that Steam is one of the only companies now left in this industry that seems to be thinking about the users, that seems to be thinking about the customers. You know, we've talked about a number of things in the past month or two that Valve are doing to look after us, right? You know, we're talking companies having to put on the box, essentially, the digital box, that there are AI assets. There's protection from adverts in games. There's probably more stuff that I'm forgetting as well. There's lots of interesting thoughts in this video, and he talks about how Amazon and Epic have tried to create a storefront that's just like Steam's as well, but they've failed. Amazon especially put, I think he said something like $280 million into creating their own digital storefront, and I didn't even know they had a digital storefront. So
yeah, they lost money.
And he goes on to talk about how it's David versus Goliath. You know, Amazon are worth, billions and billions and billions, and Valve is just 300 people, and how they were not able to create a product that got anywhere near getting people coming off Steam and going onto their platform. And there's a few quotes here that I wanted to just put forward before I ask you a question, guys. So, the last bastion of this industry where they still care about us. Steam is not just a storefront, it's a platform that's built on trust. Valve isn't some faceless corporation chasing quarterly earnings reports. It's a company ran by people who actually understand games. Valve doesn't treat its customers like walking ATMs. Now, I think we're all fairly familiar with those things, right? I mean, they for me, they ring really true when I think about all of the other games developers and publishers especially. So here's my question. If Steam is so successful, why aren't there many other companies out there working to try and replicate it? Now, I know I've said about Amazon, they've tried, Epic have tried, and if that being the case, why aren't there more customers trying to replicate this? And why are they failing? Why aren't they able to make a digital storefront that is as good as Steam?
Wow. That's
licensing.
They were the first. Which helps. If you're first in the market, you
I think it helps.
Oh, it helps.
It really helps. Now, it is a cracking point you brought up, Tower. I'm glad you did, mate, because I mean, there's something we could talk about ages, but I'll be conscious of time. So they were first, massively helps. But on top of being first, you could say the 30% they charge developers or publishers for publishing their platform is shocking when Epic only charge 12%, right? But look, Epic have to give away these free games to even get a tiny fraction of the market, and they're still getting nowhere with only 12% charging. So you look at Valve, they're like 30%, that's a rip-off. However, what do you get for that 30%? You get a lot. You're getting better sales now. You're getting a company that are looking after the customer because they are private. I think we mentioned this before. They're a private company. It's not about the shareholders. It's about their passion, about the work they put out. They take pride and prestige in everything they put out there. Take their time. They very rarely put out buggy games. They only bring out the odd game, and it's always a home run when they release any game.
I was thinking about this earlier. I can only think of one game that hasn't been a home run, and that was, I think they made some card game based off Dota. Was it called like? Oh, I forget.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the name as well. Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. Everything's a home run, right?
Yeah, they do such a good job with things like that. They've stopped advertisement in games that are on their platform recently. They put robust security measures in place on their platform. They have the marketplace. They have the Steam Workshop. And
reviews that you can trust.
The reviews, they're not Amazon reviews. Yeah. So there is a lot of value there, guys, and it's kind of probably worth the 30%. And even the sales, like I touched a moment ago, they used to be shit for quite a while. And then they realise, oh, wait a minute, CD keys are actually a thing and we need to compete. And now they're competing a bit more. So I don't begrudge the 30% charge anymore. Can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah, no, and you know what? I imagine that developers will be sitting there saying, well, okay, yeah, it's 30%. It's a lot of our money, but it's worth it. It's just worth it.
They'll look after us.
Yeah.
If you want the best, you got to pay for the best. That's
Yeah.
what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
Steam Deck, Steam OS. I mean, we could keep going.
Yeah,
Really could.
I'm not someone that will ever say companies don't care about us, so we shouldn't care about them. But if there was one exception to the rule, it's probably Valve.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of companies you can say that about. There might be a couple others, but yeah. I think the other thing is that being first is major because nobody was doing this kind of stuff back then, and they started out with this early. So that's a huge thing. It's almost
How
like
old is Steam? Very good question, guys. How old is Steam? I'm going to Google
2000 maybe.
How old
2001?
is Steam?
I had a day one Steam ID. It was 4 digits.
2003, boys. September 12, 2003. So 22 years.
I have to
almost.
look and see when I signed up, but I did sign up quite a long time ago too.
Oh yeah, how old is your Steams actually, guys? You could probably do it now. Like mine,
I know mine's at least 12 years, if not more.
mine's 21 years old. I've
maybe
almost
mine's
had it
older
for the
than
full
that.
run.
Time flies.
Wow.
What I was saying before is in a comparison, look at the eBay. eBay was the first one that came out with an online auction, and even to this day, there's other auction sites around. But when you talk auction, it's always eBay. And so the first is definitely very helpful. But on top of that, they've kept themselves in that number one position by, again, like we were saying, caring about the consumer, not having to be beholden to stockholders, etc. And all that combined makes a big difference. So it's really hard to crack that nut. And I don't think, and on top of that, when you saw that the fact that Amazon couldn't do it and Epic couldn't do it, what company out there wants to even bother? Because you had two big companies that couldn't do it. You think you're going to do it? I just kind of unlikely. So you might as well just like not even bother. It's that kind of thing.
And some people might say, well, you know, they're a monopoly, you know. And yeah, no, I'm obviously against monopolies. But some monopolies, when they're doing a good job, that's fine. If the product is great, if the service is great, like who's complaining?
Yeah, but you know what? You can't. I don't even think that's a fair assessment because you can't say that they're a monopoly because there's other companies that are doing it. They're just not doing exactly the same thing they're doing,
and they're not doing it anywhere near as well.
Right. It's not a monopoly thing when you're doing better than others. When there are others around, you know, and stuff. So
I'm just saying, some people might argue that, but I don't think.
Oh no, people have argued that. You no doubt. I've heard that bandied about quite a few times. You know, and stuff, but it falls flat on his face when there really is other competition. They just can't do it as well. Hey, look.
So, do we think then that
I will always take the free game if I like it from Epic? I've got like 40 of them now. So,
yeah, I'm the same. Yeah,
I mean, you can't turn down free, but you know, so while they're doing it, you know, that's wonderful. But yeah, Valve's pretty much got it down with Steam as always.
Do we think then that any company will ever have a product as good as or be able to compete with Steam?
Not unless Steam makes some stupid mistakes, and right now they're not making any stupid mistakes. So.
The only way that could happen, Tar, is if Valve IPO and go public, and then the world's your oyster in terms of fuck ups because they could sell their soul, but not when Gabe's in charge. Gabe, that's his baby, and he won't do that. If he ever sells up, or he pops his clogs, maybe, but
or retires.
Yeah, but then I
mean, he's going to retire at some point.
Yeah, but he'll give his shares in because there are still shares. It's a private company. There are still shares, but they're just private. He'll give his shares to someone that he knows and trusts. You would imagine. And
to be honest, with 336 employees, you're talking about a true family because it's not very big.
It's so little, Gray, isn't it? So little employees for a company that big.
If you imagine, I already know they get paid very well because they make plenty of profits, and you can afford to pay your people so that they're always happy. So even if someone goes to retire, there's plenty of good people right in back of them lined up that can just keep it going. God knows how long. I don't know. You know.
And I think you can believe that would be the case as well, right? That he will just appoint someone that he knows that will continue the legacy that he wants.
Be a family member, a cousin, or somebody that's been working in the company for freaking years, you know, and has grown up, and they can afford also to train some of their people, and because they've been in the system for so long, it's not like they have to learn 100 new things. You know, they're used to it, so they really got it well done. I mean, they'd have to make some massive mistakes to ever fall off that number one.
Well done, Tar. Very good point, my man. Very good point you brought to the table. You can stay. You're okay.
Oh, thanks very much. I think the guy finishes his video by basically saying thank you to Steam and to Valve. So, I just want to do the same. Thanks, Valve, for, a great product, for treating us like people that because I feel, as a Steam customer, I feel valued, and there's not many companies that I can say that about. In fact, I don't know if there's any. So, thanks.
Yeah, you really have to think about it.
You could argue they make one of, if not the best VR headsets, special when they bring out the new one. And one of the best, probably the best VR game of all time, which was Half-Life Alyx, in my opinion. There's another one I just forgot about, so... Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice.
And also, Lord Gaben, please make Half-Life 3. Please make Half-Life 3.
Okay, well, if you're going to believe the story,
please.
It's already it's already close to being done, so... And if we're to believe what we hear. And they've been play testing it some, apparently. I don't know, we'll see. They're good at keeping leaks, where they are. So the only people that really know are the 330.
Because they're private again. Why would you want to spill the beans on your family, your brothers, your sisters, your pals, when you genuinely believe in it? But you wouldn't do it.
No, and if you're getting paid 3 times as much as anybody else for the same thing, why are you going to go blab it and risk that? You're not going to risk that, unless you're crazy.